Thanks for your work. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Some days are better than others. I don't like to see people lose money, including myself. I actually like making money too, contrary to popular belief. I do. All right, I wanted to touch on PayPal real quick. I wanted to go through this for anybody that might not have seen the post. I won't go through it word by word, but I did want to talk about why this company is in great shape, I think, going forward, despite a really underwhelming Q4. Now, one, they laid off 9% of their workforce, so their OPEX is going down. Two, Ace recognized in the call that the mobile app is not great. It's not intuitive. It's not efficient. He's kind of alluded to this before, and he's working on it. That was one of my biggest complaints coming into this call is it's like there's 7 different options for sending money, and those have sub windows too. And just trying to find the QR code to pay somebody at a grocery store took me 15 minutes to try and get that to work, only to find out that even though it said it was supposed to work, it didn't work, and the managers couldn't figure out why. That sucks. So whether it's online, mobile, whatever, they got to fix that stuff. And the thing I liked about this call was that they said they're already focusing on single platform. They're looking to consolidate the Venmo and PayPal silos. I used to be somebody who helped manage a team for a mobile app for my previous employer. And before that, I was a manager and then an account executive for our biggest customer for a company that did software for urgent cares. So I know a little bit about software, okay? And I can tell you that what they're doing right now and what they've done in 4 months, where they said that they fixed reporting issues and got it to where all that stuff is in one place now, and again, breaking down silos, getting it to where they're able to increase, reduce costs, reduce workforce, increase engineering velocity. Like, these are the things you want to do. This is great stuff. And for the companies I've worked for and the companies we worked with, none of them moved as quick as what Alex is doing right now. So I'm going to give this guy another quarter and give him a break and let him do his job. And if you look real quick, I'm going to do a quick segue here because there's something else you got to see. So I think I posted it. This is Alex Chris, okay? This is Alex Chris's employment history at Intuit, okay? So during his tenure in 19 years with that company, the stock price went up 3,400% because this man focuses on process and innovation and refinement. So when he tells you he's going to do it, there's a pretty good track record that he's probably going to do it. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. So let's get back to this, so I can rant a little bit more. I'm in a mood. All right. Focused on removing data silos. Again, they've got all the reporting in one place. That's cool. All great. Focusing on quicker, easier payment access using biometrics like facial recognition and thumbprint. That's so needed. Nobody wants to sit even online and have to try and find their password or pull up a password manager and try and figure out how to get logged in. Nobody has time for that anymore. If you can't just swipe your thumb or look at something and pay a bill, like, nobody wants to deal with it. So it's smart that they're doing these things. Fastlane, nobody cares about this. Nobody cared about the merchant video, right? Nobody, like, oh, hey, he didn't shock the world. Well, he actually did a great job. He showed that how they're going to simplify guest checkout, where you can put in your email address and then you're done, and you're done with the check-in process with them. And that works cross-platform across all of the vendors out of the 25% of e-commerce that these guys do. So even if you never really sign up, it'll use that email as like authentication and allow you to be able to start a payment process more effectively across merchants in the future. And I think that is cool stuff. And again, like BigCommerce, I think, is the one that they said was using this. And they've got a 70% conversion rate, which is like industry leading. This is good stuff. Now, they have a massive data transactional set, this company. They've got 25% of e-commerce. That data is worth a fortune. This is the kind of stuff that Meta makes a fortune off of. So when we talk about them already increasing their margins in this Q4 earnings, which is great and unexpected. I think Tanner thought that was happening from future investing, but most people didn't. I didn't even expect that to happen. I actually thought it was going to still be lower. I was looking for metrics to be lower, and they exceeded all my expectations really across the board in the earnings. It was just the guidance people are getting hung up on. But again, when you have the ability to be able to track customers across all over the web and everywhere that they spend, because 25% of the e-commerce comes through you, and you can follow them down to the SKU, and you can allow merchants to be able to say, hey, if people have bought these products before, even if I've never worked with them before, I want to advertise to them. That's incredibly valuable. That's going to make this company a bunch of money. I don't understand why people don't know that, but it will. It'll increase the purchase rate. It'll increase transactions. It'll increase revenues. So if you haven't figured this stuff out yet, start actually focusing on what they're doing. Cash back rewards. So they'll be able to, because they can charge lower fees, they'll be able to, and they're going to work with merchants, and merchants are going to pay them more just to be able to have access to increasing their revenue. Because once you can start spending higher revenue, people will pay you more. If you don't believe that, like look at Palantir, look at Meta, look at a bunch of places where because you can make them more money, they're like, hey, we'll pay a little bit more. We don't care. And so they're going to be able to do that too, and they'll be able to give people greater rewards. So they'll be incentivizing customers while at the same time incentivizing merchants. I think it's all brilliant. Alex told us, give me a couple of weeks to months. We're working on all this stuff and we're looking to push it out and then work on focusing on adoption. I think that's great. Now, PYUSD, they didn't talk about their stablecoin. Wish they would have. I don't feel like they were selling enough inside of this earnings report. I also wish they would have said like, hey, we're going to do 6 billion, 7 billion in buybacks. They should have let them know. They could have said everything else. They could have set expectations low. They could have set, for their EPS for 2024 low. They could have done all of that and still at the same time made people excited because they were excited and they can see that it's the bottom of the stock price. They could have done more with that. And I wish they would have talked about the stable coin. I think in the future, this is going to allow them to be able to do transactions way less than the 2 to 3% that these credit card companies like to charge. America is behind when it comes to paying. There is no reason why we pay 2 to 3%, or I should say the merchants pay 2 to 3% to get people's money. They don't have to do that. That will change in the future. I think this could be part of it. And I think it'll be one of the leaders in it. And I've made a bet that I think that these guys will be a top 3 stable coin in the world by the end of this Bitcoin cycle. That's what I'm expecting. All right. They're talking about expanding into international markets. They said that during the call because there are larger profit margins there. I think that's brilliant. That's what they should be doing. There could be positive tailwinds that somebody asked a question about the NFC chips, the Apple lawsuits, and yeah, they didn't really respond too well to this, but that could actually benefit them too as well. I don't know if they just didn't want to get into legalities of it or not want to talk about it. I don't know, but that could benefit them. So again, that could be a tailwind. The CFO talked about the fact that they have just a cluttering in their business and they need to get rid of a bunch of it. You might look at that as a negative for somebody bringing that up on a call, but I actually think the CFO should be focused on that stuff. I've never liked a CFO who isn't focused on making the company leaner. So I love that they're trying to get rid of parts of the business that aren't profitable. And I'm sorry I'm going off on a rant about PayPal, but I just want to get it out there. All right. So again, the earnings report, let's just roll through that real quick. Margins, higher. Transactions per account, higher. Revenues, higher. Total payment volumes, higher. Cash position, larger than it's been. Take rate, higher. Number of payment transactions, higher. Buyback, at least 5 billion or more, which is higher. Expectations set for low 2024 EPS. Gives them room to exceed expectations. This company is at an 80, it might even be 82% down from its high 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So almost 3 if you look at the double top that appeared in the chart, back then. So I am going to pull a roaring kitty here and say I like the stock. And I'm sorry if people sold out because they don't have conviction. You should do better research. You need to know what you own. You need to know if there's value. You need to know how far you're going to go. You need to know how options work. I literally have a video about it that shows you a calculator where you can see if you're going to make money or lose it. It's as visual as it gets. Watch the video. I'll put it at the end of this. But take responsibility for your actions. That's what I got to tell people. And know what you're invested in. It's not my responsibility for you to know it. I will try and help you to understand that. But I learned a long time ago, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I learned that being a manager of a support department. I learned how human beings work, and there's only so much you can do to get people to do things. And I know this. My daughter is not much different than my employees were before too. And I could do all kinds of things to try and incentivize her. but in the end, she's the one who's got to get it done. So make things happen. Grow as a person. Learn from other people. Don't make them accountable for your actions. All right, I'm done. That's my rant. Let's move on. Sorry about that. All right, real quick. The PayPal chart, it got butchered today. The options, everybody fled. So I shouldn't say everybody, but like the options were down 55% at one point today. So I would say that all the short-term traders are gone. They're washed out. They washed out probably in the first half an hour of the day. So say goodbye to them. All right, CLSK.